My mother-in-law said, "You'll never be able to afford our lifestyle," until we bought the lake house next to theirs for cash. That was 3 months ago. Since then, Delilah has been watching our every move through her kitchen window with binoculars. Her husband Preston barely acknowledges us, but Delilah? She's cataloging everything we do. When we moved in, she asked what my husband did for work. Tech consulting, Rowan said vaguely. She pressed for details about which company, what position, how much he made. He smiled and changed the subject. That's when the comments started. Nice boat. Must be a rental. Your landscaper charges too much. We know cheaper ones. That watch looks expensive. Is it real or one of those convincing fakes? I ignored it all. We'd earned this house. Rowan's startup had just gone public after 12 years of 80-hour weeks. We'd lived in a 600-square-foot apartment, saving every penny while Delilah sent us $25 gift cards to discount stores for Christmas. Her daughter, Rowan's sister Paige, would post photos of family vacations to Europe that we were never invited to. Delilah's captions always mentioned how blessed and fortunate they were. Last week, Delilah hosted her annual summer party, the one she'd never invited us to in 15 years. This year, she hand-delivered our invitation. "Since you're neighbors now," she said, her smile tight and forced. The party was exactly what I expected. Delilah's country club friends, Preston's business partners, and Paige showing off her new engagement ring. "Worth more than your house," Paige whispered to me while we stood by the appetizer table. I smiled and sipped my wine. Then Delilah made an announcement. She'd been waiting for the right moment to share that Preston was buying the company that owned the entire marina. "Big investment," she said proudly. "Going to transform the whole area into luxury." Everyone applauded. She looked directly at me. "Some of us have the capital for real ventures, not just pretty houses." That night, I told Rowan what happened. He got quiet. That dangerous kind of quiet. The next morning, he made 3 phone calls. Yesterday, Delilah knocked on our door at 7 a.m. Her face was pale, makeup-free for the first time I'd ever seen. "Did Rowan buy the marina?" she asked, her voice shaking. I didn't answer. "Preston's offer was rejected," she continued. "The owner said someone paid double in cash yesterday afternoon. Was it Rowan?" I told her I didn't know what she was talking about. She left without another word, practically running back to her house. This morning I saw moving trucks at their house. Delilah was standing in the driveway crying while Preston loaded boxes into their Mercedes. I walked over with coffee. "Everything okay?" I asked innocently. She looked at me with something between pure rage and complete desperation. "Preston's company had a major investor pull out overnight. We're bankrupt. We have to sell the house immediately." She paused, studying my face. "It was Rowan, wasn't it? He's the investor who pulled out." Before I could respond, Rowan appeared beside me. He handed Delilah a thick envelope. "Our offer on your property. All cash, as is. You have 48 hours to respond." Delilah's hands shook violently as she opened it and saw the number. It was exactly half what they'd paid for the house 8 years ago. She looked up at Rowan with tears streaming down her face. "This is robbery. You know what we paid." "Market value," Rowan said calmly. "Your realtor can confirm. Waterfront properties in distressed sales go for 40 to 60% below market. We're being generous." Preston appeared at her shoulder, his face gray. "We need to talk inside." "You have 47 hours now," Rowan said, checking his watch. He took my hand and we walked back to our house. Through our kitchen window, I watched them argue. Delilah was screaming, gesturing wildly. Preston kept running his hands through his hair. Their perfect marriage, the one they'd displayed like a trophy for decades, was cracking in real time. "You feel bad?" Rowan asked, pouring himself coffee. "No," I said honestly. "Should I?" He smiled. That same smile he'd given me 15 years ago when Delilah had told him I wasn't good enough for their family. When she'd suggested he date someone more appropriate, someone from their social circle, someone who understood their lifestyle. I'd been a barista when we met, working 3 jobs to pay off student loans. Rowan would come in every morning, order the same drink, and leave a $20 tip. After 2 months, he finally asked me out. When he told his family, Delilah cried. Actual tears. She'd begged him not to throw his life away on someone so beneath him. We eloped 3 months later. Delilah didn't speak to us for a year. When she finally did, it was to inform us that we weren't invited to Paige's wedding. Too small, she'd said. Intimate family only. The Instagram post showed 300 guests. My phone buzzed. A text from Paige. "What did you do to my parents?" I didn't respond. Another text. "This is so typical of you. Always jealous, always trying to tear our family apart." I blocked her number. Rowan sat beside me. "The marina closes the sale in 3 days. I'm planning some renovations." "What kind?" "The kind that requires rezoning. No more private docks. Public access only." I looked at him. "Their boat? We'll need to find a new home." Preston's yacht was his pride. A 52-foot Sunseeker he'd named after Delilah. He spent every weekend on it, hosting his business partners, closing deals. It was docked at the marina Rowan now owned. "That's cold," I said. "They taught me everything I know about family values." The doorbell rang at 6 p.m. Delilah stood there alone. Her makeup was reapplied but couldn't hide the puffiness around her eyes. "Can we talk?" she asked. Woman to woman? I stepped aside. She walked in slowly, taking in every detail of our home. The custom furniture, the original art, the view she'd spent 8 years enjoying, soon to be ours from 2 properties. "Beautiful place," she said quietly. "Thank you. I was wrong about you." I waited. "When Rowan first brought you home, I thought you were after his money, his potential." She sat down without being invited. I'd spent my whole life teaching him to be careful, to protect himself. And then here you were, this girl with nothing, and he was throwing everything away for you. He didn't throw anything away. I know that now. She looked at me. He built an empire, and you stood beside him through all of it, in a 600-square-foot apartment. While we were taking vacations? She nodded. While we were spending money we didn't actually have. I sat across from her. Preston's company? Built on leverage. Always has been. We looked successful because we spent like we were successful. The house, the cars, the parties. It was all finance. We're $4 million in debt. The investor who pulled out was the only thing keeping us afloat. When they withdrew, everything collapsed. She met my eyes. It was Rowan, wasn't it? He was the investor? I didn't answer. She laughed bitterly. Of course it was. Preston pitched him 6 months ago. Some new development project. Rowan seemed interested, asked all the right questions. Preston thought he'd finally impressed his brother-in-law. She paused. He was gathering information, wasn't he? Learning exactly how to destroy us. I wouldn't put it that way. How would you put it? Strategic withdrawal based on poor investment fundamentals. She actually smiled. You've learned the language. I've had good teachers. Preston doesn't know yet that it was Rowan. He thinks it's just bad luck, bad timing. She leaned forward. But I knew, the moment it happened, the way you looked at me at the party, the way Rowan went quiet when you told him what I said. What do you want, Delilah? To apologize. I waited. For 15 years of treating you like you weren't good enough. For excluding you. For those pathetic gift cards while we vacationed in Tuscany. Her voice cracked. For telling my son he was making a mistake marrying you. For making you feel like you didn't belong in our family. Why now? Because I finally understand what I was looking at. She gestured around the room. This isn't luck. This isn't inheritance money. You two built this together while we were busy pretending to be something we weren't. You want me to convince Rowan to back off? No. She shook her head. I want to accept your offer for the house, and I want to do it with whatever dignity I have left. I studied her face. The desperation was real, but so was something else. Respect, maybe, or resignation. The offer stands, I said. I know it's below market value. It's fair for a distressed sale. And the marina? That's Rowan's business. She stood. Will you tell me something honestly? Maybe. Did you plan this? Did you and Rowan talk about revenge? No, I said truthfully. We talked about building a life we wanted. If that life happened to be next door to yours, if Rowan's business decisions happened to intersect with Preston's, that's just coincidence. You're a good liar. I learned from the best. She walked to the door, then turned. Paige is getting married in October. Small ceremony, intimate family only. She paused. Would you and Rowan come? Why? Because despite everything, you're family. And I think it's time Paige learned what family actually means. I'll talk to Rowan. She nodded and left. I watched her walk back to her house. Her shoulders slumped, her perfect posture finally broken. Rowan came up behind me. What did she want? To accept the offer. And? To invite us to Paige's wedding. He laughed. That's desperate. Or smart. She's trying to salvage what she can. You want to go? Do you? He thought about it. Maybe. Might be interesting to watch Paige try to be civil. The next morning, a signed contract appeared in our mailbox. Delilah had agreed to every term, closing in 30 days. They'd be out in 2 weeks. I texted her. Contract received, thank you. She replied immediately. Thank you for not making this harder than it needed to be. I didn't respond. Over the next week, I watched them pack up their life. The moving trucks came and went. Furniture disappeared. The perfectly manicured lawn started to look neglected. Preston's boat left the marina, towed away by a commercial transport company. Paige showed up on day 5, screaming at her parents in the driveway. I couldn't hear the words, but the body language was clear. She blamed them. For losing everything. For embarrassing her. For ruining her wedding. Delilah just stood there, taking it. Preston finally yelled back, pointing at the house, at the marina, at our property. Paige turned and looked directly at our window. Even from a distance, I could see the hatred in her eyes. She's going to be a problem, Rowan said. Let her. She's calling everyone we know, telling them we sabotaged her parents. Are people believing her? Some, the ones who never liked us anyway. And the others, are asking how we pulled it off. He smiled. And whether we're taking new investment partner. On day 12, I saw Delilah sitting alone on her dock, staring at the water. Something about the way she held herself made me walk over. Mind if I sit? I asked. She gestured to the space beside her. We sat in silence for several minutes. The lake was calm, reflecting the afternoon sun. I keep thinking about this moment 3 years ago, she said finally. We were sitting right here, and Preston was talking about the marina deal, how it would secure our legacy, how our grandchildren would inherit something meaningful. She laughed. We didn't have any money. We'd borrowed against everything we owned. But the plan was so clear in his mind. Buy the marina, develop the waterfront, retire wealthy. What happened? Your husband happened. He saw through everything. Preston thinks the investor pulled out because of the economy, because of market conditions. He has no idea Rowan was playing him the entire time. You're not going to tell him? What's the point? We're still broke. We still lost everything. She looked at me. But maybe Preston needs to believe it wasn't personal, that we weren't targeted, that his ego didn't cost us our home. Generous of you. It's survival. If he knew the truth, he'd do something stupid. Try to sue Rowan. Go to the press. Make it worse. She picked up a small stone and threw it in the water. This way we move away, start over, and maybe eventually he forgives himself. You've thought this through. I've had nothing but time to think. She stood. We're leaving tomorrow. The new apartment is in Minnesota. Preston's brother offered him a job at a regional office. It's a fraction of what he made, but it's something. And Paige is convinced we're doing this to ruin her wedding. She's barely speaking to us. I'm sorry. No, you're not. No, I agreed. I'm not. She smiled sadly. At least you're honest now. I learned that from you too. You were always honest about how you felt about me. And now you're honest about how you feel about me. Fair is fair. She walked away, then turned back. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. Not because I'm losing my house, but because I wasted 15 years judging you when I should have been getting to know you. Maybe we'll have another 15 years. In Minnesota, stranger things have happened. She left. The next morning, I watched their car pull away. 2 suitcases in the trunk. Everything else already shipped or sold. Preston didn't look back. Delilah did. Just once. Her eyes finding our window. I didn't wave. Rowan came up behind me. How do you feel? Satisfied, I said honestly. Not guilty? Should I be? Most people would be. Most people didn't spend 15 years being told they weren't good enough. He kissed my temple. The closing is next week. Then we'll own both properties. What are you going to do with their house? Haven't decided yet. Maybe tear it down, build something bigger, or keep it as a rental. He smiled. I like how you think. 3 weeks later, we closed on the property. Our lawyer handed us the keys. Just like that, the house that had represented everything we weren't good enough for was ours. We walked through it together. Empty rooms echoed. Paint colors Delilah had spent months choosing suddenly looked cheap. The kitchen she'd remodeled wasn't nearly as nice as ours. The master bedroom view was worse than our guest room. It's smaller than I remembered, Rowan said. Everything is smaller once you're inside. We stood on their dock, the one I just sat on with Delilah 3 weeks ago. You know what's funny? I said. What? We don't even need this house. We bought it just to prove we could. Revenge is expensive. Was it worth it? He thought about it. Ask me in a year. We rented the house to a young couple from Chicago. Startup founders, just like Rowan had been. They paid first and last month's rent in cash. Don't you think it's ironic? I asked him. What? We're helping another young couple while Delilah and Preston are starting over in Minnesota. That's not irony. That's karma. Paige's wedding was scheduled for October 15th. The invitation arrived in September. Formal, expensive, engraved lettering on cream cardstock. Are we going? I asked. Do you want to? Honestly, I'm curious. About what? About who she is now that she doesn't have her parents' money to hide behind. The wedding was at a country club in Connecticut. Not as nice as the venues Delilah used to post about, but nice enough. Paige wore a designer dress, probably the last one her parents could afford to buy her. Delilah looked different, thinner, older. Her hair was simpler, no longer the expensive salon style. She wore a dress from a department store, not a boutique, but she smiled when she saw us. You came, she said, genuine surprise in her voice. Of course, I said. Preston nodded at us stiffly. He still didn't know the full story. Probably never would. Paige didn't acknowledge us until the reception. Then she cornered me by the bar. I know what you did, she hissed. Congratulations on your wedding, I said. You destroyed my family. Your family destroyed itself. My parents lost everything because of Rowan. Your parents lost everything because they spent money they didn't have. That's not true, I interrupted. Ask them about their debt. Ask them about the loans. Ask them where the money for your private school came from. Where the money for those European vacations came from. She stared at me. Your parents spent decades living beyond their means, I continued, teaching you that appearances matter more than reality. And now you're angry because reality finally caught up. You're still jealous? Of what? Your struggling parents? Your clearance rack dress? I glanced at her wedding ring. Your discount diamond? Her face went red. I'm not jealous, Paige. I'm just not pretending anymore. I walked away. Rowan found me on the terrace. Rough conversation? Honest one. Good. We watched the reception through the windows, Paige dancing with her new husband, Delilah and Preston sitting at a table looking exhausted, the other guests mingling, drinking, unaware of the subtext threading through every interaction. Think they'll be okay? I asked. Eventually, Rowan said. People are resilient. Even terrible people. Were they terrible? Or just flawed? Is there a difference? Maybe. We left before the cake cutting, drove back to the lake house in comfortable silence. The tenants were grilling on the dock of Delilah's old property. They waved. We waved back. Young couple making it work, I said. Like we did. Like we did. Inside our house, Rowan poured wine. We sat on the deck, watching the sunset. Do you feel better? He asked. Now that it's done? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know, I said honestly. I thought I would. I thought there would be this moment of satisfaction, but it just feels like we won something we didn't really want. The house? The revenge. He nodded slowly. I felt the same way at the wedding, watching Delilah in that department store dress. It didn't feel good, but it didn't feel bad either. No? We sat in silence. You know what I realized? I said. We spent so much energy proving we belonged, proving we were good enough. And now that we've proven it, I don't care anymore about their opinion. Character development, Rowan said with a slight smile. Or just exhaustion. My phone buzzed. A text from Delilah. Thank you for coming today. It meant more to me than you know. I showed Rowan. You going to respond? He asked. I typed. It was a beautiful wedding. Paige looked happy. She replied immediately. She hates you both, you know. Me. I know. Her. But I don't. Not anymore. Me. I know that too. Her. Can I ask you something? Me. Go ahead. Her. Do you think we'll ever be friends? I stared at the question. Rowan read it over my shoulder. What are you going to say? He asked. I don't know. Be honest. I typed. I don't know. Maybe. 15 years from now, we'll be different people. Her. That's fair. Her. Take care of the house. It deserves better owners than we were. Me. We will. Her. And take care of each other. You two are the real thing. Don't waste it on people like us. I didn't respond to that. Rowan pulled me close. Well what? How does it end? The revenge? All of it. I looked at our reflection in the window. Happy, successful, together. I think, I said slowly, it ends with us realizing that the best revenge wasn't destroying them. It was building something they could never touch. Deep. I'm serious. We spent 15 years being underestimated, being dismissed, being told we weren't enough, and instead of shrinking, we grew. We built something real while they built something that looked real. And now, we let it go. We keep the house because we can. We rent it out because it's good business, but we stop measuring our worth by their opinions. Very mature of us. We're getting old. Speak for yourself. I laughed. 6 months later, Delilah sent a Christmas card. A photo of her and Preston in front of a small suburban house in Minnesota. They looked tired, but okay. The card said, "Starting over isn't easy, but it's honest work. Thank you for the tough lessons. Delilah and Preston." I put it on the refrigerator. Rowan raised an eyebrow. Really? Why not? After everything? After everything, I agreed. Maybe that's the point. A year after the wedding, Paige sent a baby announcement. A girl named Olivia. The card was cold, formal, no personal note. I sent a gift anyway. A savings bond for the baby. Delilah texted, "That was kind of you." Me, just trying to break family traditions. Her, "Ha, yes, please do." 2 years after buying their house, we finally decided what to do with it. "Hear me out," Rowan said. "I'm listening. We donate it to a nonprofit, one that helps young entrepreneurs, provides housing for startup founders who are grinding it out, the ones who can't afford rent while they're building their companies." I stared at him. "That's actually perfect, right? But expensive. We can afford it, can we?" He showed me the numbers, the tax write-off, the goodwill, the way it would help people exactly like we used to be. "Delilah's going to hear about this," I said. "I know. What do you think she'll say?" "I think she'll understand." We signed the paperwork in March. The house became the headquarters for the Foster Foundation for Emerging Entrepreneurs. They'd house 6 founders at a time, providing free rent for up to 2 years while they built their companies. The press coverage was significant. Local news, business journals, feel-good human interest stories. My phone rang. "Delilah. I saw the news," she said. "And? It's brilliant. Truly. Thank you. I mean it. Turning that house, that symbol of everything we did wrong, into something that actually helps people." She paused. "Preston cried when he read about it." "He did?" "Because he finally understood what you and Rowan actually are, what we could have been if we'd focused on substance instead of appearance." "How is he?" "Better, working hard, making less money but happier. We're paying down the debt slowly. It'll take years, but we'll get there." "And you?" "I got a job at a community college, teaching business administration." She laughed. "The irony isn't lost on me, but I'm good at it. Turns out all those years of pretending to know about business actually taught me something." "And Paige?" "Struggling, but she'll figure it out. Her husband is good for her, keeps her grounded." "That's good." "Listen," Delilah said. "I wanted to say something." "Go ahead." "Thank you." "For what?" "For showing me what strength actually looks like. For not accepting our definition of success. For building something real." Her voice cracked. "For being better than we deserved." "Delilah." "No, let me finish. I spent so many years looking down on you, pitying you for your small apartment and your student loans and your service jobs. And the whole time, you were building something I'd never understand. A partnership. A real partnership." I didn't know what to say. "Preston and I are in therapy now," she continued. "Working through our issues, learning how to be real with each other. It's hard, really hard, but necessary." "I'm glad." "Are you?" "Honestly? Honestly? Yes. I don't want you to suffer. I wanted you to understand. There's a difference." "I understand now." "Good." We talked for a few more minutes. About nothing important. About the weather, about the lake, about normal things. When we hung up, Rowan looked at me. "Evolution? Maybe. Think we'll actually be friends?" "I think we'll be something. Not friends exactly, but not enemies anymore either." "What do you call that?" "Resolved." 3 years after buying their house, we attended Paige's baby shower in Minnesota, at Delilah's small suburban house. It was strange, intimate, real. Paige was different, softer. Motherhood had changed her. "I was awful to you," she said during a quiet moment. "Yes, you were. I'm sorry." "Are you?" "I am now that I understand what you were fighting against." She looked at her parents across the room. "They meant well, but they taught me all the wrong things. They're trying now." "I know. It's weird seeing them like this. Dad in regular clothes, mom shopping at Target, but they seem happier. Happiness isn't expensive." "No, but I thought it was for so long." Later, Delilah pulled me aside. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Of course. I know you didn't have to. After everything, I repeated. "Seems like a lifetime ago." "It was a lifetime. My old lifetime." She smiled. "This is my second act. Turns out I'm better at being poor and real than I ever was at being rich and fake." "You're not poor. Compared to before, we're broke. But compared to happy, we're wealthy." Very philosophical. Community college has been good for me. We laughed. On the drive back, Rowan asked, "How do you feel?" "Peaceful," I said. "Really?" "Really. I think we're done." "Done with what?" "Done proving anything. Done with revenge. Done with anger. Just done." "So what now?" "Now we just live. Build our companies. Help other people. Enjoy the lake house." "That's it?" "That's everything." He took my hand. We drove in silence, watching the landscape roll by. 5 years after buying their house, Delilah and Preston came to visit the Foster Foundation. They wanted to see what had become of their old home. We gave them a tour. 6 young entrepreneurs living there now, working on everything from apps to sustainable products to biotech. All grinding, all hopeful, all exactly like we used to be. Preston stood in what used to be his office. "I spent so many hours here," he said quietly, "making deals, chasing money, leveraging everything. And now?" I asked. "Now I spend my hours at a desk in Minnesota, making decent money, going home at 5 p.m. to have dinner with my wife. He looked at me. It's better. I'm glad. Are you? Really? Really? Delilah found me in the kitchen. They're so young. We were that young once. Were we ever that hopeful? I was. You were too, probably. Before the keeping up appearances started. Before everything became about perception. She nodded. Can I tell you something? Sure. Losing everything was the best thing that ever happened to me. I looked at her. I mean it, she said. It forced me to figure out who I actually was. Without the house, without the parties, without the performance. And I'm not bad. I'm just different than I thought. Different how? Smaller, quieter, but more real. She smiled. I like teaching. I like helping students who are struggling. I like knowing that my worth isn't tied to my bank account. That's growth. It's exhausting. We laughed. Before they left, Preston shook Rowan's hand. I hated you for a long time. I know. But you did me a favor. You showed me what I'd become. That wasn't my intention. Doesn't matter. That was the result. He paused. Your foundation is doing good work. Real work. If you ever need anything, let me know. I will. They drove away. Rowan turned to me. That was unexpected. People change. They do. We did. We did. Now it's been 7 years since we bought the lake house next to theirs. 7 years since Delilah said we'd never be able to afford their lifestyle. We see them twice a year now, Christmas and summer. Normal family visits. Paige has 2 kids. She works part-time as a teacher. Her husband runs a small business. They're happy in a way that doesn't require performance. Delilah teaches full-time now. Preston manages a regional office. They paid off their debt last year. They're saving for retirement again, but differently this time. More carefully, more honestly. And us? We still live at the lake house. We expanded our businesses. We help other entrepreneurs through the foundation. We have a good life. But the best part isn't the success. It's not the money or the house or the business or proving anyone wrong. The best part is that we're done keeping score. We won, they lost, then they rebuilt. And now we're all just living. Last weekend, we had dinner at their house in Minnesota. Delilah made pot roast. Preston told stories about his regional office. Paige showed us photos of the kids. Remember when you first came to the lake? Delilah asked. Hard to forget. I was horrible. You were. Sorry about that. Water under the bridge. Is it really? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, I said finally. It really is. Because revenge is only sweet for a moment, but forgiveness lasts. And building a life that doesn't require anyone else's validation, that's the real victory. Not the house, not the money, not the comeuppance. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing you became exactly who you wanted to be, despite them, then without them, and finally, alongside them. Different equal done.